Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sexual Spacewalk Theater's presentation of The Gay Card by Logan Martin-Arcand. And if you heard that, wow, that's great. So hi, this is weird, right? This is theater now. we cannot do theater the way that we usually do it. So this is kind of what theater is for the time being, and really for the foreseeable future, as far as we're aware. So I want to thank you all for joining us this evening for the read. For those who do not know, we are not in the same room. When I say we, I mean we, the artistic team behind this show. Three of us are performing from our individual homes in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We have one individual from Vancouver and one from Toronto. And our team here has united just to present this show to you. Before we get started, I've just got a couple of housekeeping things to take care of. And so I'll just get through those. I want to thank the Saskatchewan Arts Board for providing funding for this project through one of their micro grants. And I also want to thank the National Theatre School, who also funded this project through the Arts Apart initiative. In these times of uncertainty and these times of isolation, it is really integral that artists can continue to work and make art. I find it funny because we're now relying so much on the sciences and new technologies to keep us alive, but the old adage goes, keeps us alive, and art is what makes life worth living. So I just hope that we can help to keep the conversations that this show brings up going, because really at this point we need reasons to keep life worth living. So in when you go to a theater, they usually give you a little program, and inside of that program there are artist bios, there are sometimes playwright notes and director's notes. For the purposes of today, what we're going to do is we've got a little bit of a director's note thing, which I've taken the time to write, so I'm just going to give you that sort of as is. And just FYI, it is written because, as you could probably tell by my crappy banter, I'm not the greatest at improv, turns out. So I'm going to stick to my script, but try to make it sound as natural as possible. So firstly, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in this evening. I really do appreciate it, and I know that the rest of the artistic team does as well. I also want to mention that there are some trigger warnings. The show contains extreme language, nudity, and sexual content, which includes the crossing of consent boundaries. So please be advised of that. We, as society, we are living in strange times. And it feels really weird to be producing a show that is rooted in human connection and intimacy, and producing that show on a digital medium. But as you continue to watch this show, you are going to see that this particular presentation, is going to feed into many of the ideas that this script explores. Many, but not all human beings, crave connection and intimacy with another person, and the characters in this show are in search of relationships with deeper meaning than the ones that they have had thus far. This play shows us that both consciously and unconsciously, we wear many different masks to suit the situations that we find ourselves in, and often to suit the people that we find ourselves in front of. This play asks questions of us all. How much can we drop the mask and still find the deep connection that we crave? Can we truly have that sort of deep connection without dropping the mask entirely? Communications and courtship have found their way onto the digital age, and this presents even greater challenges in letting people see the real you. So much of what we are and who we are gets lost in the airwaves and through cables and all of that. Have you ever had a text conversation, as an example, where you read that text message in a tone that the person didn't mean to send? Or did you send a text and somebody else took it in a way that you didn't intend them to take it? I bet you have. The gay card reminds us that connection comes through honest conversation, honest in-person conversation, and that it is hard at best to get this from a 5-inch screen, and to get to this point requires effort from both people having honesty in these conversations. The characters in the script that you're about to see make mistakes, and they make them often, and often they are the same mistakes over and over again. Having said that, I would pose that none of the characters in this script are either good or bad, because no human being can truly be one or the other. Because if good and bad are black and white, then we, as human beings, the audience, and all of these characters live somewhere in the gray. And please keep in mind that you're not going to get to know these characters in a full way. Just like anybody who meets you is never going to get to know the full and complete you. And just to that end, I'm actually going off script. I lied to you. I don't know if you've ever tried to watch a recording of yourself, but I saw somewhere on the internet in the last couple of hours, like there is a higher form of acceptance that I have not reached yet, which is appreciating your own recorded face and recorded voice. Because even watching yourself on a recording is very different from listening to yourself in your own head. I'm very curious where you, the audience, are going to draw parallels between this script and your own lives. On a personal level, I've seen a lot of aspects of myself in each and every single one of the characters in this script, and I'm sure that you are going to as well. Because really, no matter what our lived experiences have been, we all have things that we share in common. Now, having said that, it's my belief that due to the heteronormativity of mass media and how heterocentric our culture is as a whole, it is significantly more difficult for those of you in the LGBTQ plus community to find productions and media in general that are truly representative of your lived experiences. Please note that I am saying that as a white-skinned Latinx cis male. I sincerely hope that my role as the director of this show has been as an ally, but really that's for this team, the rest of the artistic team, and frankly for you as the audience to decide. Getting to this team to talk a little bit more in depth, I would say that I would be cheating them if I didn't say that they have brought virtually everything that these characters are to the table. Even with our limited rehearsal schedule, they have given their all to this project. And when the world gets back to some sort of semblance of normal, I really do look forward to hanging out with each and every single one of these guys and giving them a huge consensual hug. If I can leave you, the audience, with some images to stick in your head for this show, I would say the following: masks, mirrors, a cell phone, and Mean Girls. So with that all being said, I want to thank you once again for tuning in. And here we go. The Gay Card by Logan Martin-Arcand. Present day, downtown Saskatoon, 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. We open to a plain apartment containing very little furniture. Scattered across the apartment are items of clothing. Standing alone by the front door is a 25-year-old man wearing only his underwear. His hair is greasy and messy. This is Cold Pizza Slice, or CPS for short. We witness him closing the door.
Fuck. 3 a.m. on a Sunday and I'm alone again.
Then, one by one, he picks up each item of clothing and redresses himself. Slowly, he situates himself.
I've always been a hopeless romantic. From the day I was born, I always had some sort of hope that someone special would be waiting for me. Maybe that's still the case. I really couldn't say. I just haven't met the one yet. The problem lies with my homosexuality. Or as a few guys who I went to high school with would probably say, the fact that I like to suck a good cock. The gay dating pool is incredibly small. When it comes to being gay, there seems to be only 3 ways you can end up dating. Number 1, you go to the gay club every night and you fuck your way around the after-hour gay scene until you find someone who is desperate enough to date your sorry gay ass. Number 2, Grindr, which, for those of you who don't know, is it's sort of like an iPhone version of Christian Mingle, but for sinners. Or number 3, when the blonde from yoga sets me up on a blind date with her gay best friend, she knows this one will work out because we're both gay and sassy. So in the past year, since I broke up with my ex-boyfriend, I've gone on like what 108 blind dates set up by numerous friends. These dates, they're all the same. Kind of cute guys who are never really my type. The guy and I meet up at some overpriced hipster restaurant that plays its music way too loud. Then afterwards, we walk around for a bit. We end up in my apartment. We fuck. And he says he'll call me. And of course he doesn't. And unless he wants to fuck again, and well, who am I to say no to mediocre sex? So that's been my life in the past year. Perpetually single. The first date, the first fuck, the 2 a.m. you up text message, second fuck. Then we never talk again. It's also stupid. I go on these dates knowing that they're just this segue to sex. These guys ask me where I grew up or what my favorite book is, like they care. My problem is that I just want to go on a date with someone who's on that date because they're interested in me. Not just because they're also gay and single, and definitely not because they're only interested in what the inside of my mouth feels like. And maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe if I go on enough of these shitty fuck dates, then I will find Mr. Right and will go off and adopt gay babies and do musical theater. I just feel like I've tried to find love everywhere, but it doesn't want to find me. Here's the part of the story that you've been waiting for. There was one place where I hadn't tried to find love, and that was on a dating site. There's those actual dating sites, which are typically for sad old straight people who are too socially awkward to find love the conventional straight way, aka in a bar. And then there are the dating apps targeted at the urban 20-something-year-old, such as myself. These apps are almost always used for a quick and easy fuck. Anyone who thinks otherwise is kidding themselves. Why else would these apps give their selection based on user proximity? The straights and the less adventurous queers use Tinder. The other gays use, well, a lot of different apps. There's Squirt, Surge, Jacked, Scruff, Growler, Man Jam, Guy Spy, Planet Romeo, Daddy Hunt, Manhunt, Hole, Pokemon Go. Just to name a few. But the most important one, Grindr. It's so popular, I even know a few straight guys who use it to network. But despite my objections about using such hookup apps, I too ended up falling down the rabbit hole that is Grindr. Which takes me back to last night. It's a Friday evening. I am being a sad old man rewatching the criminally underrated TV show Freaks and Geeks for the 26th time when my phone buzzes. I check my phone and it's a text message from this guy. Let's call him Fuckboy. Him and I went on an awkward date a little less than a year ago. Then we fucked periodically for a few months. Not gonna lie, pretty amazing sex. Then, maybe about 6 months ago, he fell off the face of the earth. Never heard from again. Until last night. Let's see what kind of riveting things he has to say.
The lights shift to last night. CPS has a faint blue glow on his face from the TV. Then Fuckboy enters. We hear the sound of a text notification.
Hey, what's up, winky face?
Holy fuck. What in the absolute fuckery is this? Seriously? He messages me after months of ghosting me. I shouldn't reply. Oh, fuck it. Not much. Lying around naked. Haha. Soap. He doesn't need to know.
Good. Just bored. ... Are you doing anything special tonight?
Not really. Maybe just some Netflix in bed.
Bed, winky face.
Yeah. I'm just lounging around, trying to relax.
Want company? We could relax together.
Fuck, I'm bored of this. I'm not gonna reply.
Hey. Hey. Hi. What's up? Hey!
Yeah, a fuckboy over here sends me 6 text messages before giving up. Look at him, buddy.
CPS shoos Fuckboy off the stage.
You see, this sort of shit keeps on happening. Gay men not wanting to put in the work of a relationship. They just want sex. And these random text messages from Fuckboy were really the tipping point. I decided, somewhere between messages 5 and 6, that I need to take my love life into my own hands. And the easiest way to do so, in my opinion, is Grindr. What a way to spend my Friday evening watching 90s sitcoms and cruising on Grindr. So, next thing you know, I opened up the App Store and I searched Grindr. Grindr. Download. Downloading. Downloading. Downloaded. Create an account. Am I a robot? You're fucking up not. Accept terms and conditions, yada yada yada. Okay. Display. Cold pizza slice. Headline. Always looking for the one. Age 25. Show age. Yes, why wouldn't I? My Grindr tribes. What the hell is that? Weight 6 feet. Height 6 feet. Weight. None of your damn business. Ethnicity. When the fuck is that important? Relationship status. Single as fuck. Set profile photo. About me. Pizza. Wine and anal. Avid Golden Girls fan. Insert cliche here. Looking for love in all the wrong places. Done.
The lights shift to noon light flooding through the blinds.
All of a sudden, I wake up to the sound of my phone's alarm going off. Shit. Noon already? Fuck. What the fuck? 14 messages. Let's see. Horny Top says, got any nudes? 420 Friendly says, you like older men, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. Hung says, ah, fresh meat. Holy shit. Just flat out sent a photo of his junk. Nope. Delete. Delete? Wait. Got a message from a guy named Evan. His photo of him is interesting. His pants are a bit too big. His hoodie, a bit too small to have feminine looking. Cute. His about me says, ask me to find out. Let's see what he has to say.
Hi.
Hey, sorry for the late reply. LOL.
Lol. Don't sweat it.
So what's up?
Not a whole lot. Thinking about what I want to make myself for lunch. And stuff. Yeah.
I just woke up. LOL.
At noon? Aren't you like 25?
Hey, it's Saturday and I only work part-time, so.
Nah, I'm only playing with you. So, you new to Grindr?
How'd you guess?
IDK. I'm kind of psychic. It's like I have ESPN or something.
LOL. Mean Girls?
And there's a 30% chance that it's already raining.
I'm sick.
Boo, you whore.
LOL. I haven't seen it in forever. It's a good movie. Up there with Casablanca.
And the hit 1988 movie Twins, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
Oh my god, who could forget that cinematic masterpiece? LOL.
So, what brings you here?
I don't know. Chat and dates. Hoping to meet new friends, learn more about people, stuff like that.
Cool. Got a name?
Copy to slice. No spaces. You can just call me CPS. I'm guessing you're Evan.
Damn. The ESPN is strong in this one.
Oh, you know, total psychic. LOL. So, what brings you here? Haha.
Trying to find love or something like that. JK.
Cute. LOL.
I just have to let you know that I'm bad at this whole instant messaging thing. I'm much more awesome in person.
Oh yeah?
Oh, hell yeah. I have a huge Hot Wheel collection, and sometimes my mom buys me the name brand Fruit Loops. I live a pretty dope life.
Yeah, boy. How many Hot Wheels?
Like a lot. Almost 10.
I think you're really funny.
My therapist says that I use humor to mask my childhood trauma.
LOL. Shit. Let me take you out for coffee or something?
Honestly, not much of a coffee fan.
How could you not like coffee? Exclamation mark, question mark. I live on coffee. No joke. I once did the calculation and I spend, on average, $2,300 a year on cold brew.
Holy shit, dude. LOL.
But I mean, everyone has a vice. Something to keep them happy in this time of crazy goings on in the world.
Oh, trust me. Last month, I watched all 9 seasons of The Office
Okay, that's not too bad.
in 5 days.
Yikes.
LOL. So, how about dinner instead of coffee?
I'd like that. I've been meaning to try that new taco place, the one on 4th.
Would tonight work?
Want to meet at 6?
Sounds like a plan.
CPS exits the stage, leaving Evan all alone.
My name is Evan. I'm a 20-year-old queer boy, and I would describe myself as aggressively average, which I'm 100% okay with. I don't have a huge porn star penis or clothes somewhere fancy like the Gap. I was never the smartest kid in school, and I was far from good at sports. And like, don't even ask me to sing outside of the shower. And I'm cool with that because I know when I can look at the mirror and I can know who's looking back at me. Which now that I said it, sounds like the geekiest shit I could have ever think of. I've been on Grindr for the last 4 years. And like, it's not like I'm here just desperately looking for love. Grindr is an interesting way to kill time, to just chat with random gay boys. Sometimes I get response and sometimes I don't. I just scroll through Grindr because I want to connect with other gays. And maybe in the long run, I'll find love. But it's not a priority of mine. Sex isn't really a priority of mine either. Like, don't get me wrong, I like sex. I've had sex, but it leaves me feeling yucky afterwards. I figured out that I'm not a hookup kind of guy, and no shade towards people who love hooking up, just it ain't for me. I'm not the kind of guy or person who's gonna get on my knees just to make a man feel taller or better. I don't exist to pleasure other men, and those men don't exist to pleasure me. And like, I'm not blind or naive. I know I'm using a geosocial app created as a way for gay guys to get off. I know that most of the men on Grindr are simply looking for random, no strings sex. A good majority of messages are from headless torsos who are only looking for fun. And FYI, sympathy is not what I'm asking for. I know what I signed up for. The thing is that Grindr is like the only place I can be gay in this small, conservative, lonely city. Well, other than the gay bar, but that's really not my scene. And so, yeah, a city of 300,000 people, and this app feels like the best way to connect with gay men around me. I've had some pretty amazing conversations with some guys and been ignored by others. But after years on Grindr, I pretty much know every guy who frequents the app. And so that's why I get excited every time I see a new person. It's just a chance to make a new friend. Which brings me to Cold Pizza Slice. Mr. Looking for Love in all the wrong places. That name, that bio, that horribly lit selfie. There's a lot to unpack here. So, of course, I had to message him. Next thing you know, we're back at his apartment after having supper together.
Later that evening, the lights change and we are back in CPS's apartment after dinner. Evan and CPS are just entering.
I just don't think that PETA is going to change my opinion about the Canada Goose jacket.
I'm not saying that you should trust PETA per se. Like, they do have their own hang-ups.
Yeah, they wouldn't know a strong fashion statement if it hit them over the head with a club.
Are you making a clubbing baby seals joke?
Maybe. Do you want me to take your hoodie?
No, it's fine. I'm usually cold anyways.
Oh, do you want me to turn out the heat?
No, it's fine. I like your plays. Did you enjoy dinner?
Yeah, it was great. It was delicious. But I mean, if I'm spending $20 on a salad, it better be, right?
I don't know how you could go to a fancy taco place and order a salad.
There's the guy who can function without coffee.
I know, I'm the anomaly, but the millennial who doesn't need coffee to survive. I might as well be a mutant.
Thing. I once did the calculation, and it turns out I spend on average $2,300 a year on Starbucks.
You already made that joke.
Yeah, joke.
So, I have a weird question.
That's good.
Why did you sign up for Grindr? Like, 100% honest answer. Why did you download it in the first place?
I don't know. I'd never really used it before and wanted to see what I could find.
Yeah?
Don't you ever get tired of the same old shit? Like, I want a connection that I've earned. I want feeling. I want a real person and not just this fleeting memory. Gay culture can be so toxic. And I don't want to be toxic. I just want to be this beautiful person in a world full of beautiful people.
Yeah. That's rad.
It sounds so stupid when I put it like that.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, have you ever been in a serious relationship?
Once?
What happened? If you don't mind me prying.
No, pry away. I have no idea. It was going really good. Like beyond good, actually. He was 4 years older than me, mature, amazing. He loved me, and I loved him. We were together for 2 years, and then suddenly, bam, I was dumped.
I'm sorry. That's shitty.
I'm over it. What about you? Have you ever been in a relationship?
Not really. I mean, I've come close, but it never really works out. I find that most of the men I meet have like this disconnect from who they are on Grindr and who they are in real life. Like, they can only be gay on the internet. Like, the only thing they can be proud of is this synthetic, manufactured cyber cell.
Yeah.
Not to get all profound or anything.
No. I totally understand what you mean. It's like I feel bad for some of them. Stuck in this place where the only part of themselves that they ever let experience love or sex is trapped within this 5-inch screen.
Yeah, like, that's no life I want to live. So why would I fall in love with someone living that life? If that makes sense.
Makes total sense.
I guess. Maybe I haven't yet met the one. I mean, like, the one who wants to live their life the way I do.
That's awesome. Do you want to watch something?
Sure.
CPS grabs the TV remote and turns it on. Evan sits on the complete opposite side of the couch. They look at each other and smile. Evan scoots over towards CPS. Then CPS does the same. Then Evan scoots over more so their legs and arms are touching. They look at each other again. Evan lets out a big smile. Evan puts his arm around CPS. CPS nuzzles in closer. He leans in and kisses Evan on the cheek. Evan kisses CPS on the forehead. CPS leans up and starts kissing Evan on his lips. Evan joins in. CPS gets on top of Evan's lap and straddles up, kissing his neck and rubbing his body. CPS takes off his own shirt, and in that moment, time freezes for CPS. Evan addresses the audience.
Everything was so good. The blue glow light from the TV on his face, him nuzzling into me, his lips on mine, my hands firmly planted on his back. It made me feel alive, warm, and kissing my neck. It felt so right. Then it felt so wrong. I felt myself transcending into this hazy yet familiar one-night stand territory. And as good as this feels in the moment, I know in the long run, this isn't. I want to be more than a one-night stand.
Time resumes.
Can you stop? I don't think I want to do this anymore.
It's okay.
Please?
What?
I said stop.
Why? What's wrong? Hey, what's wrong?
Are you stupid or something? Do you not know the meaning of no?
I was trying to make you comfortable.
You want to know what would make me feel comfortable? If you would have stopped when I asked you to. What am I to you? Just another hole to try? Today's special flavor?
Evan, I'm sorry, I didn't mean...
I'm tired of explaining myself to people. It's bad enough having to deal with this shit from straight people. You know what? You're just another gay guy who takes what he wants.
Evan, I'm
out of here.
Evan, I fucked up! Fuck. Not knowing. Not thinking, I texted fuckboy, who an hour later showed up at my front door. Hi.
Cold Pizza Slice reaches out his hand and uses it to guide Fuckboy into the apartment. CPS starts kissing him while removing his jacket. CPS abruptly stops and asks,
This is what you wanted, right?
Several hours later, CPS is sitting alone in the living room, with Fuckboy sleeping in the bed.
I open up Grindr so I can apologize to Evan. But then I can't find his account. He blocked me. Do you ever feel like a horrible person?
Every day.
I made a mistake. I went too far with someone. And I don't know how to make it better.
Sometimes, man, the only thing you can do is admit that you did something wrong and vow to never make the same mistake again.
Yeah.
What'd you do? If you don't mind me asking.
I went on a date with this guy and afterwards we started kissing and he said stop and I said you're just nervous, something like that. Never thought about it, how selfish I can be, how fucking pushy I can be, like my wants and needs just trump all. This guy didn't want it. And I treated him like I didn't care. When I was young and new and nervous, I had all these men like use me, coerce me. They made me feel special and sexy just so that they could get off. And I thought, well, that's just the way it is. And then I continued that absurdly fucked up cycle of abuse. I'm just a piece of shit.
You're not. Like I said, now you know. Do better. Be better. Nothing wrong with admitting you did something wrong.
Thanks.
You know, you talk a lot.
I've been told.
You're cute when you smile.
Maybe we should head back to bed.
Actually, I think I'm gonna head out.
You don't have to go.
Oh, I have stuff to do.
Oh, well, you could stay over. I'll make breakfast, my specialty, frosted flakes and a side of burnt toast.
Look, I'm not looking for anything serious.
Okay.
Just looking for a good time. That's all.
Okay.
I'll text you or something.
CPS closes the door.
Fuck. 3 a.m. on a Sunday and I'm alone again.
Then, one by one, he picks up each item of clothing and redresses himself. Slowly, he situates himself. The lights fade to a few minutes earlier.
I'll text you or something. I know what people call me. Fuck boy. Not stupid. Somehow, sex has completely defined my adult life. And who I am to most people is that. Just sex. I lost my virginity when I was 15. It was in high school. Doing it just felt right. I felt like it was what I needed to complete myself. Made me feel new and sexy. Made me feel wanted. Made me feel happy. Sex is all I want and all I need to be happy. I don't know why I do it. Maybe it's because it's what I deserve. Maybe it's because it's what people want of me. They want me. That means something, right? I have no problem giving it all away. So I fuck to be happy. To be needed. Is that so bad? I was raised right. I had parents who appreciated me. I had a happy childhood. They supported me and my choices. Yet, for some reason, life doesn't think I deserve love. And maybe that's true. Boys are messy. Love is messy. At least after sex, I can just wash myself off and be done with it. Can't do that with love. So I leave. I once stayed. I ended up staying for too long. And I was the one who got hurt. Let's go back 2 years. I'm sitting on my couch with my perfect man.
We are taken to Fuckboy's apartment.
He says to me,
No, I'm telling you, this is the year.
dude, they haven't won a World Series since '93. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, but the Red Sox. 04?
Fuck, you can't bring up the Sox every single time.
Man, they got pitching depth and powerful offense. This is the year.
You're a fucking goof, you know that?
Why? Because I have faith in the Jays?
No, because you're delusional.
Don't be mean. I mean, I've had enough faith to choose you, right?
Your only good choice this year, might I add.
My best choice. I don't say this enough, but I think gay boys who know sports are sexy.
Stop. You're giving me secondhand embarrassment.
You're an ass.
So I did it.
Did what?
I told them, my folks,
Told them what?
about being gay and dating you, that stuff. Everything all right?
Yeah, I didn't think you were serious.
Well, I mean, I am serious. When you're thinking about telling your mom.
About us?
Yeah, about us.
I don't know, man.
You don't know.
I don't know if it's a good idea.
Really?
What?
Last week you were going on and on about how we should just do it, rip off the Band-Aid.
I know. I just didn't think you were gonna do it without telling me first.
Well, I did. So?
I'm not ready.
You for real?
I'm not gonna do it.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
I never asked for you to come out.
But I did.
But that's not on me.
There's no going back for me, man.
I'm sorry. I can't.
I did it for us to make our relationship stronger or to take the next step or something.
Our relationship?
Yeah, our damn relationship.
We're barely in a relationship. You're just a friend I fuck around with.
You're scared. That's what's going on here.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody taught me how to do this. Navigate coming out and how to be with another man.
I should go.
Stay. I love you.
I don't think I love you. And I don't want to waste your time anymore.
You're not a waste of time.
No, I can't do this.
And with that, I watched him leave. I guess it just wasn't in the books for us. And it left me all broken up inside. It's stupid being that broken up over a single person. It was like that feeling I used to get when I was a kid, that I love him so much I can barely breathe feeling. That whenever I think about him not being with me, I just want to lock myself away in a room and listen to Bad Romance by Lady Gaga on repeat feeling. That feeling of desperation, knowing that no matter what I did, I couldn't make him love me. After him, I buried my feelings in late night hookups and casual encounters. There was a random date every now and then, but nobody really stood out. Until I met Cold Pizza last year. I don't know. There was something about him. He was clever, charming, funny, and refreshingly cynical. He just had something about him that commanded my attention. And he was someone that I wanted to give it to. We had this amazing first date that ended in amazing sex.
A year-ish earlier, it's the night of Fuckboy and Cold Pizza Slice's blind date. Fuckboy is sitting on the couch tying his shoes. Cold Pizza Slice enters from the bedroom.
You almost forgot your watch.
Shit. Thanks, man.
Maybe I should have kept it on my nightstand. Might have given you reason to come back.
So you're saying you want me back?
Fuck yeah. That was honestly some of the best sex I've had in a while. You'll be back.
And if I don't?
You will. At least you better.
You're really cocky.
I know.
I like it.
I try. It's really nice meeting you.
Yeah. I'll call you or something. I really liked him. I did. After that, I wanted to put so much of my energy into. I wanted him to like me. But sadly, nothing really materialized with cold pizza. Unless he wanted sex. Which he did a lot. Which honestly was kind of awesome. I have a high libido, and it's sexy to find someone who can outdo me. But I hoped that eventually it would evolve into something more. That maybe he might show some more interest. But nope. After every time I sucked him off, radio silence. Doesn't feel too great. So about 6 months ago, I stopped trying. Then, a few nights ago, I was looking through my phone, going through every old fuck buddy and FWB, trying to find someone to help me get off, when I saw the contact info for my so-called perfect man. I knew I should have deleted it. But instead, I did something so incredibly stupid. I texted perfect man, just something so unbelievably mundane, like, hi. And of course, the fucker responded. We went from awkward small talk to lengthy texts about my life. Then in a lapse of judgment, I mentioned meeting for coffee, and that's what we did. So it's yesterday afternoon, and we meet up at a cafe. Hi.
Hey,
Thanks for coming.
of course. So the Jays never made it to the World Series.
I told you they wouldn't.
Yeah, you did. You can say it. I told you so.
Well, you fucking know I'm always right. I think I want to get back with you. It's just that we were having these amazing conversations over text, and everything just seemed so good between us.
Oh, wow. 0 to 100.
It's been like 2 years, and I don't know, I think that maybe we could try being together again.
What are you doing, man?
I just really want to be back with you.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing someone else. I'm happy with them.
Okay?
You deserve happiness. You do. But you're not going to find it with me.
Perfect man stands up and leaves the cafe.
I sat alone in that cafe for like an hour. Just fucking feeling sorry for myself. Sad, isn't it? I am just fucking tired of it. I really am tired of feeling sorry for myself. Life is like a balancing act with Perfect Man. Maybe I came off too strong. I didn't take his needs into consideration. Then with Cold Pizza, I was distant. I never told him what I wanted, that maybe I wanted to know him better, know him outside the bedroom. I was expecting him to be the one to take charge, to be my knight in rainbow armor, to save me from this life of singlehood and fuckboyery. I didn't let either of them be real people. It was always about how much they could do for me, how much they could give me, how much of their vulnerability they could let me have, all without me giving any of it back to them. And so I realized maybe it's too late to ever fix what happened with Perfect Man. But maybe I still had a chance to change for the better, to allow myself to exist as a person who makes mistakes and lets other people be people. So, late Friday night, hours after my meetup with Perfect Man, I scrolled through my contact list and I saw the name Cold Pizza Slice. This could be my chance to do right, to tell him I wanted to know him better, to apologize for never giving him a shot or never allowing him the chance to give me a shot. So I texted him. Hey, what's up, winky face? And then I fucking realized I put a semicolon instead of a colon. Who uses winky face?
Oh, not much. Just lying around naked. So,
Good. Just bored. ... Are you doing anything special tonight?
not really. Maybe just some Netflix and bed.
Bed, winky face. Fuck, I did it again. I sound stupid. Why did I say bed?
Yeah, I'm just lounging around, trying to relax.
Okay, here's my chance. Maybe he'll invite me over. Then I can explain myself to him. Want company? We could relax together. Okay, he's not texting back. Hey. Hey. Hi. What's up? Hey. Radio silence. Once again. I just really wanted the chance to explain. You know, I keep on making the same mistake over and over again. I keep on rationalizing the same damn mistake. And that is me just waiting for other men to validate me. And then suddenly, last night, seemingly out of nowhere, I get a text message from the cold pizza guy asking me to come over.
The lights shift back to CPS's apartment. CPS enters from his bedroom as Fuckboy knocks on the door.
Hi.
Hey.
cold pizza slice reaches out his hand and uses it to guide Fuckboy into the apartment. CPS starts kissing him while taking off his jacket. Then CPS abruptly stops and asks,
This is what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
They kiss passionately. Then Fuckboy ends up back in the hallway.
I stand outside his apartment, wondering why I left. Fuck it! Hi,
Hey?
do you want to start over?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
I'm Bryson.
Paul.
Hi.
Hey.
This is really fucking corny.
Yeah, it really is. Do you want to go get food or something?
I'd like that.
Blackout. Right on. Thank you so much for joining us for the staged reading of The Gay Card by Logan Martin-Arcand. What we are going to do, please stick around. We are going to do a live and interactive talkback. What we're going to do is we're going to take about 5 minutes just to head to the washroom, probably grab some water or something just to refresh and all that. This would be a really good time to ask some questions. I realize because of the way that streaming works and the way that the internet works, we're going to have a little bit of a delay here. So now would be a very good time to start asking any questions you have of the cast, of the crew, about anything at all, anything about the script, anything about the process, whatever you have. So with that, we're going to take a 5-minute break and we'll see you right away. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. So, welcome to our post show talkback. Thank you very much for those of you who decided to stick around. And thank you for watching the show. Really great to have an audience. Really great to connect with people that way. So, first thing I want to do is just kind of go around and have everyone introduce themselves. Tell us where you're from, where you're currently living, what your pronouns are, your name, just like the basic stuff. Mitchell, do you want to start?
My name is Mitchell, and I grew up around Saskatchewan. We moved a lot growing up, so small towns, including Weyburn, Kipling, and now I live in Saskatoon with my husband.
And your pronouns?
Oh, he and him are my pronouns that I use.
Perfect. Brendan?
Hi, I'm Brendan Chandler. I go by he, him. I'm from Grand Prairie, Alberta. I went to theater school at Humber College here in Toronto, where I live.
Awesome. You did you give your pronouns?
I did he, him, yeah.
Oh, perfect. Sorry. My brain, it's mush. Connor?
Me? Okay. My pronouns are also he, him. I am currently in Vancouver. I just finished school at UBC. I actually grew up in Calgary and lived my high school years in Saskatoon. So I've been all over the Western province.
Sweet. Ed?
Hi, my name is Ed Mendez. My pronouns are he, him, and this drink would be considered his, technically. I am born and raised in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I've lived here my entire life. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I am Logan Martin-Arcand. My pronouns are he, him, they, them. I am born, raised, and currently living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It is my home. Yeah. Sweet. Okay, so let's get this going. Let's start off with some of these questions. So this is a really good question. How did you guys find the motivation to practice this during quarantine? Asks Ross on Facebook. Anyone want to jump in?
I feel like I kind of had like a bit easier of a time having like done the show before in past years. I feel like there was kind of like a groundwork that had already been laid, so I could like explore new things and kind of take different paths and kind of like refine bits. But I already kind of had that. Yeah, I already had some groundwork, so I think I really relied on that personally. So yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine how you guys like did what you guys did, and yeah.
Oh, and
Tell me.
just for clarification, so Ed, this is his second-ish time directing the show, and this is Mitchell's second time in the show as well. So we did an iteration of it last year, a production of it last year that we took to New York, as well as performed here in Saskatoon, and Ed and Mitchell were in it, and Brendan and Connor are new to the project.
And incredible.
Absolutely.
So how did you guys find the motivation, I guess, to come into this project and give it your all?
Something for me, I was in rehearsals for a different show when everything went crazy. So I was already in that mindset. And I've never been in rehearsals for a show and then had it canceled. It's not a great feeling. You don't have that full circle feeling at all. It's very like jarring. So I was really like, I would like to do some theater still. Like I was still on that that momentum. Like that ball was still rolling for me. So it wasn't too hard to start up. That was where I got that motivation.
What about you, Brendan?
For me, new material is always something very, very enjoyable to start. It was a breath of fresh air because it was a context of a play that I usually don't get cast in. And for me, it was fresh meat, as you would call it. And I had a fantastic time. And the motivation every day was the fact that this play, the more you read it and the more you discover it, the more you realize how close it is to you and to the content that we live with all sexualities. And damn, I love it. Thank you, Logan.
Let's ask another question.
Yeah.
So Ellie asks, would each of the actors say they relate to their character in some capacity? Let's start with Mitchell. I know that everyone has an answer, so.
Yeah, no, I think this play is like a particularly a gift, like being able to, I know as a queer actor, I feel like kind of starved for queer roles. Like I want to, that's something that really I'm really passionate about is playing queer characters and like bringing that aspect of myself to a show. I would say like beyond that aspect, CPS, the fact that he's dealing with these intense like feelings of guilt and like coming to terms with things that he's done wrong and trying to like maintain like like manage to like incorporate into that into his image of himself, and like the fact that you can make mistakes while also being who you are. I think that's kind of a universal experience because we all make mistakes in some capacity, and so I think for sure that that's something that I can definitely relate to. And yeah.
What about you, Connor?
Yeah, I do feel like I relate to this character. I think we kind of had a similar question in one of the other talkbacks, and I believe what I said was that I started life as a very hopeful, loving person, and being gay, there's a lot of trauma there, and things that have affected me and continue to affect me the way that Fuckboy does, and I think that I would say that I struggle with love and relationships in a lot of similar ways that he does, which was really awesome for me to play this character because it was very easy to channel that part of myself. Yeah.
But also, like, to kind of add on to that like it's easy to channel into that, but then it's kind of also hard to let people into that.
Yeah, that's true.
That place, right?
It's easy to get there. It's not always. It doesn't always feel good to be there.
Yeah, and to share that part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Brendan?
I would say the entire story, because I was 18 years old when Grindr came into my life, and that was 10 years ago. And hearing how everything unfolds, it just kind of brings a really interesting perspective that Grindr is a very interesting platform, and everyone should look into it a little bit.
We'll get Grindr.
It's a surprise every time, if you know what I mean.
Oh man.
What about you, Ed? Like, do you feel like you relate to your character of the narrator at all?
Oh God, no. I feel like I was, as the narrator, I feel like I kind of dipped into like ASMR a little bit. But having said that, though, I do see aspect. I think I said it in the pre-show speech for anybody who was there at the top of the show. Like I see myself in every one of these characters, like little snippets of and bits and pieces of myself are definitely spattered throughout the script. During the rehearsal process, I'd even quipped that I've been in a similar situation to Perfect Man, where I was in a relation. Well, I did not think I was in a relationship. Apparently I was in a relationship, and it scared the bejesus out of me because I was young, stupid, and quite ignorant of what I was doing. So yeah, it's and that's not the only example. That's the example I'll give where it's certainly the experiences that these characters have. It's very relatable.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's ask another question. Any more plans for performances in the nearby future? And this is asked by Henrique. And I think that's actually a good question for all of us, because I know that we're all kind of working on some online things that hopefully we can, yeah. Anyone want to jump in?
Yeah, I don't know whether we'll be doing something like another gay card thing right immediately, just with everything COVID wise. Personally, I'm in another project that I've been working on for free flow dance theater. I work with a modern dance company in Saskatoon, and they're doing an International Dance Week where they're having 3 performances this week, half-an-hour performances, and then they've connected with different cultural groups as well as members of the company, and they're going to be presenting 3 like 30 to 40 minute shows. So I submitted a song that I written and like a dance that I choreographed to that. So if you want to see more of me in the near future, this week,
Sick.
look it up. International Dance Week, Free Flow Dance Theater.
What about you, Ed?
Well, I guess I would like to talk about this project and plug something else too. So the Gay Card is, I think we're looking at a Western Canada tour of some sort. So looking into other theaters that might be interested in hosting a live theater performance, and who knows when that'll happen now, with the state of the world being what it is. But that was the original intention for this piece, was the original intention was actually to take it to we had applied to the Canada Council, the Edinburgh Fringe thing, and obviously the Edinburgh Fringe had fallen through, but that was kind of the hope that and then subsequently now this project could perhaps open doors for a Western Canadian tour in the future. So the plan now would be to shop this out to see if there's anybody who is interested in putting on this sort of show, or this show in particular, and moving on from there.
So if you're interested in that content, sexual spacewalk theater.
Yeah, if you know any ADs or like artistic directors or any theaters that might be looking for some brand new content or fresh content,
Queer,
check us out.
Indigenous content.
Boom,
Might I
baby.
add?
Boom, baby. Maybe we should talk to Urban Inc. Like Corey at Urban Inc. would maybe he'd be all over this. I don't know.
Sometimes, like I'm cool. I think with whoring myself out a little bit to the mainstream theaters to close that gap.
Hustling.
Oh, sorry, hustling.
There you go.
I mean, hustling is not much more of a better word than whoring.
It's really not.
It's just it's all about like taboo, and like hustler has like a very male connotation, while whore has a very female connotation. So are we really just being sexist right now by trying to police one and not the other?
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
If I'm looking back at looking back at my youth, I was very much a whore in my younger days, so I don't know what you're talking about.
And no shame.
No.
All
Maybe
right.
a little.
So, question from YouTube. A question from Genevieve. What was your rehearsal process like putting on this show?
Complicated. I would say very complicated. And if this is the Ginny that I think it is, then hi, first of all, and I guess you would know, having seen this show in person before, the challenges of the digital medium and trying to make physical intimacy come through is just, it's phenomenal. And so, I mean, if you watch the specific scenes where these characters get intimate, trying to choreograph that in a way that would convey the emotions going on in the heads of these characters and have that translate to you, the audience, through a digital medium, that was a mind fuck. Like, wow, that I would say would be the hardest part. And then also there's that whole exploration of, how much emotion comes through a digital screen. I'm glad that we didn't treat this like a verbatim read through, because like we could have very well just like opened the script up on the day and just done a read, but we wanted to go a little bit further beyond that and make this somewhat of a staged reading where we actually incorporated movement and action and movement and action that was appropriate. So I would say the rehearsal process was challenging in that regard, that you want to cover everything, you want to make the show the best it can be, but I mean, with time being what it is and all of us having other commitments such as we do, we had a bit of a limited schedule. Like I think we did the math, we did the calculation, as CPS would say, and it comes out to like 2.5 or 2.25 days of rehearsal, like of 8-hour days. So trying to get every note in the script, every feeling, every unit to be the way that we wanted it to be, I would suggest it was never going to happen. But I would also say that I felt pretty damn good about the work that these actors presented, because in that short span of time, to be able to know the characters as well as they know them, and present the physicalities, especially the way that they did. Like I've taken a very minor amount of intimacy direction courses, and I'll say that right now, but there's something I learned in one of those courses, and it was a note I was going to give and I didn't, and I just want to shed some light on it now. It's about vulnerability and the things that people do to show vulnerability. And when Brendan was playing Evan, there's a moment where him and Evan and CPS have come back to CPS's apartment from going out. They've gone out for dinner, and they're basically just like, trying to outwit each other, not outwit, but like they're both casting their wittiest jokes at each other. And then Evan swoops his hair back to bring it down a notch and to get real. And for people who have long hair, it's kind of a thing where once you sweep the hair away and start to show the neckline, that is a very intimate thing to do. That is you're basically taking off a little piece of armor and showing off anything that's like a major artery. It's a subconscious thing that we do to show someone to give someone a picture of us in a deeper sense. So Brendan the actor was probably doing that subconsciously, and then me the director seeing that, I'm like, oh, he's opening up right now as he does that, and that's fucking fantastic. And I want to tell him, but I'm not gonna fucking tell him because I don't want him to like overthink this shit. So stuff like that. Or like similarly, and this is a Brendan thing again, and actually this happened with Connor as well, with as fuckboy, when things weren't quite going their way or things were a bit stunning, like they would physically shrink back into their chairs, which was really cool to see, because then it's like you could see them tense up and like cave their chests in and then physically move back. So I would say the challenging thing is not being in a room together. There are so many things that you can't do, especially like, of course, the intimacy scenes. But at the same time, we kind of had an advantage that way, where at the very least we were able to see each other, so we could still pick up on some of those things. Also, just very technical thing, the internet sucks. Like, to get comedic timing and like timing of things on the internet, it just fucking sucks. So I mean, I would say thank you so much for doing what you did, but man, the timing is just brutal because lag is a thing. It's a real thing. And this is a thing we have to deal with.
Yeah, totally. And I think the technical aspects of actually presenting it was extremely difficult as well. Yeah, so like the software that I'm using in my own living space right now to run the show, I've never, like a week ago I had no idea how to use any of this. And so I'm operating right now from 3 monitors. And I was like, during the show, you can't see me, but I'm all over the place. Just like my mind is in 3 different places at once. And then, so like the process is here, and actually I could probably take the webcam and show you.
I want to see.
So we're talking to each other on Zoom. We have a Zoom chat. And then it's then being like being broadcast, or like I'm taking a screenshot or screen share of the Zoom chat. Well, 5 different screen shares, and then I have it brought to OBS, which is Open Broadcasting Software. And then that is then being streamed from OBS to a site called Restream.io, and Restream.io is then sending it to Facebook and YouTube and all these other places. And to say the least, there was a bit of a learning curve for me to really make the
I'll
whole
have something
process
to say after too.
Yeah. What do you have to say?
So if for any actors who are new and are ready to explore the idea of imagination, so something I did with my roommate just while they were listening to this, because they were watching this tonight, and they've been hearing me be intimate by myself in a room for like a week, and they can always tell me that they can hear me. And so if you're going to be going to a film studio, and this is going to be very specific, but it does happen, that you have to have a conversation or you have to be intimate, let's say with an alien that's not there. You have to fully believe that that alien is having sex with you, even though they're not there. And they do that. So, yes.
Well, even like, and it's a different beast than even like a one-man show. Because I'm sure that most of us have done one-man shows or something similar, or monologues even here. And it's not the same, because we're not talking to an audience, we're not talking to a director, we're talking to a little black dot at the top of a screen, and then trying to figure out the balance of making that work. And something that I said earlier in one of our previous talkbacks was that something that I've seen throughout this process with the actors is, you know, we now the fourth wall is this screen and this camera, and it's created an extra layer of difficulty to connect and to be intimate. And so something that I've seen with the actors is this ability to then take off a layer somewhere else and find another way to be vulnerable in a way that maybe they
Rely on
wouldn't.
commitment too, like being
Totally.
committed to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Really
And-
relies on that.
Yeah, and so like then having to be conscious about, okay, well, I need to give a little bit more vulnerability now to this void because I now understand that there's this disconnect. And it was magical to watch over the process of 2 weeks to see this really strong digital wall that was put up then be kind of taken down by this process of, okay, how do we then amplify and intensify that vulnerability? And there are times where I've been watching, you know, the Zoom chat and I forget that we're not all in the same room, because then I notice that Mitchell is picking up on some of Connor's, you know, subtle movements, and Connor is picking up on Brendan's facial expressions, and so on and so forth. And we're all kind of looking at Ed to see what Ed thinks about it when it's happening, because Ed is giving facial reactions and
Guilty.
Yeah.
It's laughing.
and
Yes.
so we've kind of become our own audience, and we've learned how to form that intimacy over this digital space. And it's not about like demonizing tech. It's about knowing that tech, just like anything else, it can be weaponized, but it can also be utilized in such an important way. And that, like, we found ourselves several nights just staying on the Zoom chat for like 4 hours after rehearsal, because it was just refreshing just to chat with someone that wasn't our roommates or our husbands or our wives or
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Technology is a tool, right?
Yeah. So
That's how you use it.
another question. This one is also from YouTube. So I understand that this was written with the performance originally intended to be done on stage, but after this process, have you had any thoughts about making it more accessible for this form? And this is from Kyle. I feel like that could be me and Ed and Mitchell question, because I know that we've been talking about kind of going forward with this story, and I really like this dynamic in this team. What do you guys think?
Well, I know that Logan, like you've mentioned, yeah, the possibility of moving it forward as like a web series potentially,
Mm-hmm.
And kind of expanding on some of these characters like Evan, and kind of adding more characters. I think, yeah, and I think that's a really strong idea, because I think one of the great things about this play is that you do get to see this from this story from multiple perspectives, and you get to see these different people who have similarities but also vast differences. And I think that's something that you, like, even when you have queer representation, I don't think that you get to see. I feel like there's a lot of the time it's like a very specific type of representation, and because there's often only like one character who's the gay character in the show, but having like multiple perspectives and multiple experiences, I feel like you really get to delve into how much these people are people, and I think that's really exciting. The idea of that web series and expanding on this world is really exciting to me. So I hope that happens.
Yeah, hopefully.
I see a lot. There's a lot of potential for this to be just filmed in some way, shape, or form. I just love whenever I picture this, I picture the sets, and how much of this happens in CPS's apartment and how much of this happens in the hallway. And I've always loved that aspect of just watching Fuckboy be in a hallway, collecting his thoughts, and the idea that his entire track essentially happens in the span of about 5 or 6 seconds of him mulling over the events of 2 years ago, 1 year ago, Friday night, Saturday night, Saturday morning. Like, I could see so many future lives for this, both I guess as a live show, as a film show, as a web series. There is so much potential for this story to be expressed in a number of mediums.
Yeah, I think for this particular iteration of just it being the script that it is right now, I would love to see it just a filmed version of the play. You know, some multi-camera angles uh, and just kind of honoring what it is as a stage show, because I think it's really important as a stage show. But then I also I do dig this format right now of being able to do it online, from potentially 4,000 kilometers away from, you know, the two opposites of on the end of the country. Connor and Brendan are 4,000 kilometers away, and one of them it's daytime still. This one,
Yeah, right.
and then this one over here, it's
like almost midnight.
It's almost midnight. And I think that's so awesome because it's the same time, but it's different time, and it's it's crazy in my mind. It just you don't really get to see that live often, and the fact that we can connect like this.
And even just like the convention of this being a web, or like being cast on the web. So in as a contrast to the live show. So in the live show, CPS is very much playing to the audience and playing to a live audience, feeding off of that energy. But at the same time, I can so see him being a web vlogger and just like spilling his guts to literally like millions of subscribers and talking about his personal love life. I love that idea. And I think I pointed it out in rehearsal, but like I love that. Like he specifically translates so well into into this kind of a medium for me.
Totally.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. There's a few more questions. So, what were the inspirations to build the characters of Perfect Man and Fuckboy? So that's definitely a me question. I would say that when I started writing this, the very first line that came to my head for this show was, "I've always been a hopeless romantic. Ever since the day I was born, I had this hope that someone special would be waiting for me. And maybe that's still the case. I couldn't say." And I thought that in my head, and I was like, I gotta write this down. This is a monologue. And so I started like typing this monologue. And then he started talking about, you know, this fuckboy that he went on a date with. And it was just this like generic, like, oh, he went on this date with this guy, and it was just you know, total tool, only wants sex. And so I started writing this character, and then I got to this certain point where I was like, but who is this fuckboy? Why is he the fuckboy? Is he self-aware enough to know that he's the fuckboy? Does he want to be the fuckboy? And it just it led to the place of then being able to kind of create his story and make him into this antithesis to what Cold Pizza Slice is, because I think in both ways Cold Pizza Slice is the fuckboy as well, but Cold Pizza Slice is not self-aware. He pretends to be self-aware. He has this air of self-awareness to him that is just so forced and so like I know everything about myself. I'm so confident. But there's just
sarcastic.
But there's just little things that he's missing out on. Well, fuckboy on the other hand is like he's self-aware, but then he thinks that he's not. He thinks that he doesn't get it. He thinks that he's stupid. He's very down on himself. Well, like, and it's just like, oh, oh, well, CPS is just like I'm so great. Why isn't my life matching up to my greatness? And I think that more people in real life would call CPS the fuckboy. But the thing is that CPS, because he's the first person you meet, he taints the audience, right? And he christens Bryson as the fuckboy. And then the rest of the play, the audience then kind of has to deal with this discomfort of being challenged on, I guess, like the propaganda that they were fed at the beginning of the play.
And I love that he earlier on, so CPS has a line about like guys not willing to put in the effort for a relationship, but then Bryson or fuckboy later on says, yeah, and CPS, like nothing ever materialized, well, except when he wanted sex, which was a lot. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then like Perfect Man actually started off as a character for CPS. So Perfect Man was, in my mind, he was like the ex-boyfriend of CPS. And I wrote him, like, he wears this like tight blue shirt that shows off his like perfectly chiseled chest and his like rippling muscles. And you know, like I met him when he walked out of a CD store carrying like vinyl records from all my favorite bands.
CD.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the reference here.
Pardon? Oh,
nothing.
Oh. And you're pretending to be young.
I'm pretending to be 15 or something. Yeah, no.
Oh, you kidding? 15-year-olds love vinyl records.
Well, I mean, I like vinyl too. I just the CD thing, man.
Oh yeah, CD store, like HMV, that doesn't exist anymore either. But and then it then ended up, he then ended up being transferred from CPS's story to Fuckboy story, to being that character that helped to shape CPS's or like Fuckboy story, as someone who has wants and needs and desires, and is not just a flat archetype, but instead is a full character. And I was watching Into the Woods a few nights ago, and I thought there's a strange parallel between Into the Woods and the gay card, because Into the Woods ends with the careful the things you say, children will listen. But there's like a line that's like strangers can be good, giants can be nice. And it's really a show where you know all these like characters, and so you go into the show knowing who you're supposed to hate and thinking you know who you're supposed to love. And then you leave the show, I think, two things: understanding that you have a lot more power than you think you do over people, and that you could really fuck someone over just without even realizing it. That you can unintentionally out someone, or without thinking it, you can cross a really important boundary, or you can completely disregard someone as an object without realizing it. And that like our first impressions aren't always right. Yeah. Another question: where can we purchase the script? You can't.
That's a great question.
But someday, hopefully, it will be published. But I'm in no rush for that to happen. Yeah. But if you are interested in reading the script at all, you can send an email to sexualspacewalk@gmail.com, and I can send you a PDF of the script. I'm very like protective of my work, as I think anyone would be, and it's kind of scary just sending it out into the world knowing that it's not published, and it you know that still gives me limited rights as a not rich person.
There was a tear face because of that.
Let's see if any more questions.
There's an interesting one in Ed's added in the chat that we got from
from somebody on our, or I guess on the Sexual Spacewalk Theater page. Somebody had sent one to our inbox there.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, how much of the play is about being male? How much of the play is about being a gay man? And how much is about the technology?
I think you could say like all of it for all three probably. Yeah, those themes are like definitely present a lot throughout. I think I hadn't really thought a huge amount about how much it is about being like a man, and like yeah, about like the masks you put on, and like how like kind of sought after this like promiscuity is, particularly particularly within like the gay community. There's this idea like that we've crafted of like the promiscuous gay man, which is totally cool, but like it's kind of a lot of the time that's shown as like the only option, and that's like how we're all supposed to be, and that's the ideal, as opposed to a path that some people enjoy and some people don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so that those the competing narrative of that with like you're supposed to be promiscuous, you're supposed to see like have sex with everybody, while also there's this opposing narrative of like you're supposed to love one person and you're supposed to get married to them and they're supposed to be perfect, and then that's supposed to happen. I think that's definitely like playing throughout the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
I would say a lot of like it does involve all of them, because what we do now, especially now, is that we categorize people, and we like to put them in boxes. And once they're in that box, they're placed in that box. Like there's this line in the play that always reminds me of what the community reflects in a way, and which I find it very stereotypical, is when Cold Pizza Slice is putting up his status, and when he's addressed what tribe you're from. And when I hear that answer, I just, because I'm like, when people ask me like, oh, you're a twink, you're this, you're this, you're this, I'm like, actually, human being here. I don't know what tribe I'm supposed to be from. And it's very confusing that you want to put me in that box, and I won't let people. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Ooh, look at that clappy thing.
I was doing it earlier, so I was like,
And I guess to echo off of Brendan, I think that's a huge, the part of the technology aspect is that like technology is so limiting. It doesn't ever give you a sense of being showing the complete you or anything like that. Like especially when it comes to something like Grindr, because it's so limiting. It's like it's the cliff's notes of an image of a person. You know, like pizza, wine, and anal. Like that's like, and like and whatever you throw in there is now what the world is going to see you as. It's like somebody once told me many years ago that like basically called me out for being an alcoholic, and I was like, "What the fuck do you mean I'm like an alcoholic?" They're like, "Well, everything you post on Facebook is about booze." And I kind of it took me aback, and I kind of looked. I spent that night looking over my posts from the last year, and every fucking thing was about liquor. And so I'm like, this is what I'm putting out into the world. So of course someone's going to draw that conclusion. And maybe to a degree, I admit this now, that I absolutely had problems with liquor. And so of course, like that was how I defined myself was, you know, I have this bar job and I drink a lot. And so that is what I'm casting out into the world. And so of course that's how I'm seen, because that's just what I'm casting out there.
Yeah.
So, or like similarly when it comes to technology, I know a lot of people who are new parents that like all they're doing is throwing up pictures of their kids, and it's like you lose your own self-identity and you become a parent, and all you are is a parent. You are a parent to a child, and that's it. And it's just technology limits you so much because it doesn't it only shows what you choose to show on it. So I say that technology is a significant part of the show, but yeah, asking that question, it makes you wonder what would happen if this show was about three women, and not just about three women, but or I guess sorry, four women, and four women who were lesbian women. How would that change the dynamic? And I would suggest vastly.
100%.
Yeah, like what is because I mean, we have in the beginning of the play, I counted there are 12 apps to figure out where you want to go with what you want to do with your spare time. And I'm like, do lesbians do with this stuff? Like, do they have that? Like,
lesbians don't have this because of men. Because men are abusive. A lot of men are abusive. And by a lot, I don't mean all. So if anyone's gonna like feel
Yep.
We
judged,
suck.
but the thing is that it's enough that it's quite shitty, and that the reason why that there are a lot of men, even if it's only 2% of the men who do this, that's too many, and it's the rest of the men who create the culture that allows that to happen. But I have like one of my really good friends, she's a lesbian, and she just said like I wish that we had something like Grindr for hooking up, because um, every app that they have for women to meet women, straight guys go on to harass lesbians.
What the F?
And so
Right.
Grindr comes from a place of male privilege. And even then there's trans women and trans men and NB people, non-binary people on Grindr who just are not welcomed in the same way and are ostracized. And this story does come from a place of privilege because it is very a cis male centric story. And like for me, I'm someone who like my gender I don't think exists within this realm of what makes sense, or I don't know how to explain it, and I don't have to. But I'm not I'm not immune to like male patriarchy and pushing a male narrative and you know, creating an environment where men thrive. And I would love to see a show that looks at lesbians in you know the through looking at technology and communication. But I'm never going to be the person to write that story because that's not my story to write. And the thing is that this show does come from a place of privilege. First of all, these characters have cell phones. First of all. Second of all, they have the ability to access Grindr. And third of all, they're for the most part out, and they get to meet up with people without the fear of losing their lives for doing so. And I think a lot of people kind of cling on to this idea or this notion that, well, I have an oppression in my life, therefore I have no privilege. And it's like, as us queerios in the room and whatever, we
Cheerios, queerios.
us LGBTQ folks, we really, and everyone, but like especially those who have such powerful privilege dynamics within a marginalized community. Like, so gay men have a huge privilege dynamic over gay women, and cis queer people have a huge privilege dynamic over trans queer people, and so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. White queer people over brown and black queer people, and so on and so
Exactly.
forth.
All these categories, like we keep doing this.
Well, and
It's just-
but it's so important to acknowledge positionality, in my opinion, because positionality is important. Where you come from is important, and there's nothing wrong.
Do you find it separates us at the same time? Like, there's always that part of it that we do divide.
Well, the separation already exists, right?
Mm.
And so it's so much more powerful to acknowledge the separation. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable about acknowledging the differences because they don't want to acknowledge that sometimes they're on top, that they are the center, that they are the mainstream. And the thing is that the mainstream, the center, needs the margins to define itself as superior, right? And so men, doesn't matter if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're brown, black, white, if you're gay, you're straight, we need women to be on the outside in order to define ourselves as superior. And it's a really uncomfortable thing. It, even talking about it right now, makes me uncomfortable because I don't want to think about myself ever as a bad person. But the thing is that I can be bad. Anyone in here can be bad. And in fact, we've all done bad. We've all done things that we regret. And we all have stuff within us that is racist, sexist, homophobic. And it's like, instead of denying that, acknowledge it and move past it. say that you're going to do better, and like move past that and don't keep on doing it, because then that really makes you the bad person by being like, oh, someone told me that I'm being racist. Well, fuck them. And it's just like, come on, just little things, to make the world better. We could do it together, and we could work together. But like pretending that I'm not brown is not going to make the racism against me stop. Right? I am proud of being Indigenous. I'm proud of being brown. I'm proud of being queer, and that like we should be defined by our differences, and we should celebrate that. But the thing is that there's a few bad apples who ruin that for the rest of us. And
Hey, you out there, stop doing that.
no, totally. And the thing is that a few bad apples ruin the bunch. I put a really ripe banana into a fruit bowl a few days ago, and I ruined like $30 worth of fresh fruit. And the thing is that it's society, it's all of us individually, by little things that allow that banana to be there to ruin the rest of us. But we're also in a way that overly ripe banana too. We have little bits of ourselves.
Where do you come up with this stuff? I just think it's hilarious.
It's brilliant, man. It's very well read, very well researched.
I do. I think about this stuff a lot, maybe too much.
Not too much. Not at all.
But like my perfect analogy for all of this is that shit piles up. And I think that in terms of oppression dynamics, people always like to think about it on a macro level. They like to think about the big stuff. They like to think of the KKK and the Holocaust and slavery, right? But it's the little shit that piles up. And it piles up so much that you can't flush a toilet. And the really crappy part is that there's some people who the shit piles up and they can just go buy a new house. Well, some of us then have to go use outdoor plumbing or like an outhouse.
Like a nice shiny white house.
Totally, with a gold toilet.
Shots fired.
And it's just, like, I don't even remember what the question was that got me on this tangent. Oh, wait, I did want to answer this question though. It was like, how much of the show is about being male? How much of the show is about being gay male, and how much of the show is about technology? I would say that the show isn't really about technology. I think Grindr and technology is so much more of a red herring, if anything. And the show is actually really about the deficits that lie within ourselves, right? Because the show kind of sets up and it's like, oh, Grindr. It's because of Grindr that this happened, and you think that it's going to be a Grindr show. And the poster used to use the Grindr colors, and it's not a Grindr show. It's a human error show, because it stops living in the world of Grindr like 10 minutes in after we meet Evan, and it never goes back to that Grindr world.
Yeah.
And so I think that as humans, we get to this place of, I need something to blame for my own errors. And we're like, it's the technology that sets up the walls. Sorry, I'm not making fun of you, Ed, but I realize
No. I'm very much agreeing though, because it's the perceptions of others, every one of them has different, one of these characters has something else to blame. And
totally.
Yes, technology, it's other gay men in some instances.
Yeah.
Although I would suggest that like Fuckboy has a lot of self-hate going on, or at least he starts to discover that he's the one that starts to kind of pull himself out by noticing that like it's my internalized behavior. And CPS, I guess, has a moment of that as well, where he talks about the cycle of abuse. Although I still have a few questions in there about, and like this is as a director, I still have some questions about, is this him continuing a cycle of abuse, or is this possibly miscommunication? Is it possibly different love languages? And I think we kind of tried to explore all of these different possibilities throughout the rehearsal process.
And things are multifaceted, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Nothing's
so,
black and white.
Totally. And I think that that we try so hard, or like I think for me one of the biggest things in terms of my own healing process, my own mental health process, is looking at all the ways that, like, all those situations where I'm like, oh, like this was such a shitty situation. Why do they have to treat me like that? Why do they have to? And I even look at like the abusive relationships in my life, and then having to take a step back and go, huh, I did some bad things there too. I said some things, and that like I'm not the protagonist of this story that I thought I was. That in like if I flip the script, I was kind of their villain. I stepped on their toes. I said the wrong things. I said things intentionally to hurt. And so, and I don't, I'm not saying that connects directly to the show, but that, and I think that's more of like an after show thing, that like, that whatever world that these characters live in, once the curtain closes, hopefully they figure that out. I don't know what happens after the show ends. But like hopefully they figure it out. Hopefully.
Or at least are more conscious of it, right?
Totally. Oh right, yeah, that was it's been a good 45-minute talk back. So I think that we could end it there. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, for the people who have consistently watched over the last 2 hours. And I just want to remind you guys, you can donate to our GoFundMe. We're really thirsty. Like we are thirsty, and we could really use a drink. So you can contribute to that drink by donating to the GoFundMe if you have the funds.
Yes, key point. Key point is the big if right now.
Yeah, totally. I know that
like,
there's
we
a
don't
lot
want-
of people who don't have funds.
Yeah, during this moment, like during this time, we don't want to put anybody out at all, because
100%.
obviously, like, there's so much uncertainty in the world. We know that, yeah, it's tough. Times are very tough right now.
100%. But if you have the funds. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm going to end this stream now. Have a good night.